Lars Sullivan returned on last week's episode of SmackDown as part of Night 1 of the draft after a hiatus from the company for over a year. This hiatus was due in part to injury sustained following his brief feud with the Lucha House Party, and in part due to controversy surrounding his past. Old forum posts from Sullivan were uncovered, showing multiple instances across multiple accounts of racism, homophobia, and misogyny, among other forms of hate speech. To compound this, it was then revealed that Sullivan had appeared in a same-sex pornographic movie, bringing his homophobic comments even further into question. But now, just 2 days after his return to the company, even more controversy has been uncovered about Sullivan. Late last night, a Reddit thread emerged showing screenshots of Instagram messages between Sullivan and user Yoga for the Athlete, an account used for yoga services. The screenshots showcase inappropriate behavior from Sullivan, asking for more revealing pictures from the woman, who declined. Bodyslam.net then reached out to the Yoga for the Athlete account to confirm whether these messages were legitimate, which she confirmed they were, providing additional screenshots showcasing similar behavior as well as context for the messages. I gave him the benefit of the doubt and was friendly, but a line was crossed. While no specific date was given when these messages were sent, the woman behind the Yoga for the Athlete account, real name Annika, confirmed they had been sent in the last couple of months, with Sullivan having just been friendly for a year prior to that. Once the line was crossed, Annika confirmed that she was going to refund Lars his money, reminded him that she was a happily married woman, and then blocked his account. She ended her messages to bodyslam.net saying that she would encourage women to speak up when lines are crossed. And in the wake of the speaking out movement earlier this year, this is an especially poor look on Sullivan. WWE and Sullivan themselves are yet to comment on these developments. According to a new report from Fightful, the original plans for Lars Sullivan when he was first called up were for him to wrestle Brock Lesnar, which were obviously derailed. It remains to be seen whether WWE want to continue down that path with these recent developments. One of the people Sullivan attacked on his return to SmackDown was Matt Riddle, and it was revealed over the weekend that there may be some legitimate heat between Riddle and new SmackDown star Seth Rollins. During the WWE watch-along of Night 1 of the draft, Rollins called in and was asked about talent he wanted to face now he was on SmackDown, to which Rollins named Big E and AJ Styles, the latter of which was then moved to Raw. But then Rollins called out Matt Riddle, saying, "I've got no interest in facing Matt Riddle at any point in my career, so he can go to Raw as far as I'm concerned." While this may be a quote in character, it seemed very genuine and off the cuff, and now the real reason for their apparent dislike of each other has been revealed. Thank you for being an awesome Pledgehammer on Patreon. No one names their kid this anymore, Larry. One possible cause for Riddle and Rollins' beef may have been a now deleted Instagram post from Matt Riddle's wife, which seems to call out some WWE women, comparing herself to them, including a picture of Becky Lynch and how they get paid a ton of money for how they look. Seth and Becky are of course expecting their first child together, so it's possible their original problems with each other stemmed from this post. However, there may be more to the story, as a fan has shared a story on Twitter that seems to show even more beef between them. According to this Twitter thread, Riddle took this fan out to dinner, where Seth, Becky, and Carl Anderson were eating as well, though they went out of their way not to acknowledge them being there. Throughout the entire weekend, Riddle supposedly talked about Rollins, about how he never evolved as a performer, how he was stale, and more. It was a show. I thought something was about to go down. With this potential extra context, which should of course be taken with a pinch of salt for now, it throws Rollins' original comments on Riddle into an entirely new light, with some underlying legitimate heat between the two wrestlers potentially. It'll be interesting to see whether any of this plays out on SmackDown, with both wrestlers now calling the blue brand home, or whether Rollins will continue to feud with Rey Mysterio until the end of time. It's definitely the latter, isn't it? And while things may be about to combust up on the main roster, things don't seem to be much better down in NXT either. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select is reporting that during last week's episode of NXT, which saw Ridge Holland pick up a brutal-looking ankle and knee injury while attempting to catch Oney Lorcan, things got a little hectic. There has been a lot of change, frustration, and uncertainty backstage in NXT as of late. As well as Holland's injury, it was confirmed that Finn Balor has broken his jaw in 2 places, and Kyle O'Reilly is still out injured with an undisclosed injury at this time, which has led to NXT being in a rough position. On top of this, there were reportedly several technical difficulties and errors on the show, which only added to the frustration backstage, particularly at the production table, as the new episode aired from the new Capitol Wrestling Center. I'm sure the ratings won't have helped lift spirits either, with AEW once again coming out on top. And speaking of AEW, Mr. Brodie Lee dropped the TNT title to Cody on last week's episode, but according to a new exclusive report from our very own Louis Dangoor, because we do exclusives now, don't you know, we definitely haven't seen the last of Brodie Lee as a top title contender just yet. We can exclusively report that people within AEW, both in-ring and management, have been impressed with Brodie's work over the last few months. Sources within the company have confirmed to us that people are incredibly impressed with how far Lee has taken the Dark Order since joining the group in March. One source told us that he's working so hard to make Dark Order mean something, he's always working to make Dark Order better. While other members such as Evil Uno, Stu Grayson, and John Silver, otherwise known as me, have done some great work to help get the group over, many backstage have credited Lee as the key figure in the group's success. This is, of course, in direct contrast to the original perception of the Dark Order when they first debuted in AEW, being one of the more disliked parts of each show they were on. But this perception has been flipped on its head, and AEW management have noticed the correlation to this view changing once Brodie took up the leading role of the group. But enough about that t-shirt company. Tonight is the second night of the WWE Draft, and there may be some big picks in store for the show. While the draft pool for tonight's episode of Raw has undergone some changes since Friday, such as the newly returned Lars Sullivan being entered into the pool, there appears to be one change that's set in stone, with Braun Strowman moving to Raw, according to Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio. Which makes perfect sense considering he's fighting Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship on the season premiere of SmackDown this Friday then. This company. Braun has already appeared multiple times on Raw recently, managing to be the first person to beat Yabba Dabba Kato on Raw Underground, which I guess means something. Another big name that's expected to swap brands is Bray Wyatt, which was reported by the ever-reliable WrestleVotes, who also reported that both Roman and Drew would be staying put on their brands, as well as Seth moving to SmackDown, all of which turned out to be true. Despite initial plans and teasers for Wyatt to continue to feud with Roman Reigns, even introducing a wobbly walrus puppet to the Funhouse, a parody of Paul Heyman, it seems that feud for the Universal title has been dropped. It's also expected that current Raw Tag Team Champions the Street Profits will also swap to SmackDown, which makes sense considering the new SmackDown Tag Team Champs The New Day were drafted to Raw on night 1 last Friday. And the viewership for that episode has experienced a slight increase thanks to the draft, increasing to an average of 2.087 million viewers, up 2.2% from the previous week, despite stiff competition from Game 5 of the NBA Finals. I'm told that's a big deal. And unfortunately, we end the news on a sad note today, as there have been fresh concerns over Scott Hall's health. Hall's life has been plagued by problems with substance and alcohol abuse, demons he managed to overcome with the help of DDP. However, it seems now they may have resurfaced. A virtual meet and greet was cut short with fans, as according to a recipient of the meet and greet, Hall was intoxicated and he was being difficult and kept having issues with every inscription or request and had issues with how rushed he felt. After the plug was pulled on the meet and greet, a video announcement from the organizer said that first and foremost, we're going to take care of Scott. We're going to take care of Scott. We're going to make sure he has what he needs. He's had some issues going on recently. It's not my business to talk about. If Hall has succumbed to his old ways, WrestleTalk would like to wish him a speedy recovery. Transitioning away from that sad note briefly, you should all tune in to talkSPORT 2 on the radio or on the talkSPORT app tonight between 7 and 9 PM UK time. There may be a little WrestleTalk related announcement on there. Who can say? talkSPORT 2 on the radio or on the talkSPORT app. Alex McCarthy and Louis Dangoor will be on there. The New Day have been split up. Check out all the details by pressing the video to the right, and press the video below that to find out Adam Blompier's favourite matches of all time in an updated list. Subscribe here for daily wrestling news videos. I've been Corporate Shopper. Jam that jam.